I'm Steve Miller. I want to take just a few minutes of your time to tell you a little bit about our member videos. We continue each week to build a video library that is meant to be a support for you as a trader or self-directed investor. Each week we put out several new videos as we build this library. There are 7 of them that we rotate, and just an amazing coverage that we have of different aspects of trading that I think will really benefit you. To give you an example, we do one called Tools for Text. This is about learning about charting. Look at many different studies there, and often a lot of market opportunities for the week. Next one is Trader Psychology, which is really about your personal issues and how that would affect trading. We do Big Picture Analysis, which is really a broader look at many of the markets. Just recently did one about the stock market. We do one called IRA-MO. It's about how you approach your IRAs and longer term investments and look at different potential strategies for your self-directed IRAs. Next one would be Stock Sectors. This is when we focus on stock groups, and often when we do that, as we break it down within the group, we look at how they correlate with each other and what opportunities there might be at this time in those particular groups. We have one called Style, Strategy, and Plan. This is really about your development as a trader, and we look at many different aspects of that trader development for levels, people just starting all the way through more advanced traders. And one of our most popular ones is called FutureSpeak. This is one in which we look at 24 or 25 different futures contracts and the stock index futures also. So just about anybody who's looking at any markets is interested in this. It tends to be one of our longer segments of the week as we take a deep look at these different futures segments of the markets. It's all about this our desire to raise your probability of success, and we do that by bringing these videos each week. We have a special right now, which is if you sign up for 3 months, you get 1 month free. It comes out to just 60 cents a day for all this great information. And I want to just give you an idea what is in there. So we're going to share a sample of a recent FutureSpeak right now, in which we cover 4 different futures contracts in the energy market. So I hope you enjoy this, and if you have any questions, you can write me at slim@askslim.com. Thanks a lot, and enjoy this video. FutureSpeak, October 7th, 2015. All right, well, we've seen markets move this week. Don't know what to give more credit to, whether it be the S&P 500, it's literally launching off of that recent low, up some 120 points at its best level off that low, or the oil market, which moved up very sharply as per our analysis, and got up very close to $50 in oil on West Texas light crude, and that was definitely in the realm of the analysis that we had looked at. So lots moved in here, and of course all this drove the energy stocks, metal stocks, mining stocks, and that gave the S&P 500 a very big lift. That also helped the bond market go into a little correction as we expected also. So much trading per hour cycle analysis, it's exciting. S&P 500 definitely moved up well beyond the area that we expected it to. And for those of you who have not yet seen our big picture analysis on the stock market, you'll want to go watch that, because I think it was really good. Now, I know a lot of people have watched it already, because I could see on the view counts, and I think it's really a very good piece explaining the bigger picture and why it's likely that this is a bounce in a negative or declining phase in the stock market, and the ways to tell really whether or not it's a bounce in that bearish market or its bottom, and I look at I think some charts that speak to that really clearly. So if you haven't seen that yet, go watch it. You might want to watch it again. I think it's got some great analysis on there. So we're going to get right into this as we always do. We have the energy, foreign exchange, the metals, then the treasury, stock market, and then we will look at the grains and the coffee market, and just so much to look at here. I'll try to keep this under 50 minutes today, and we'll take a look right now. We'll start out by putting up a light crude chart that's /CL, and the market really nice move on the upside for sure. You'll see on the weekly and the daily chart as we have the support resistance in both places on here. Here's the weekly chart that we're looking at, and interesting that the gasoline market now looks like it was late. In other words, the bottom that you see right here in oil and where the bottom was projected in gasoline were two pretty different locations. And now as oil lifts up, gasoline is in the area where it's likely bottoming. That's going to keep the oil market from getting much on the downside as it pulls back. So as we look at these cycle patterns in here, we can see that we are in this green rising zone. We saw this triangle formation or pennant formation forming, suggesting another rally was coming. Look how it tags the underside of the resistance there, and that 34-week moving average coming right through that zone also. So that's really a textbook look at why we thought the market was going to rally. Now we take a look here at the daily chart, and by the way, that weekly chart still has time to go in this rally. Now take a look at this daily chart as I expand this. And this is really interesting as this bigger cycle pattern in here that formed this pennant that was right in here. So in other words, what happened was that the correction essentially was sideways, right? It just went like this and like this. Then when this cycle period ended right in here and the new one came, then it only had 6 days. That was a rather short one. That happens in bullish scenarios. And then got this move to the upside nice and strong. See how it tags the underside of that resistance zone right there, and the 89-day moving average coming right down to that spot also. So pretty important spot. So you could see how we have the cyclical patterns drawn in here right now, as this cycle that we're in is this one here. Probably fools around in here, has a bit of a pullback, and that would be a buy area right over there. I don't have the support put in, so why don't we just put that in? We'll grab the Fibonacci Retracements. We'll look at this little low right over here and this high that it made right there, and we'll pull that back, and we're gonna just grab the rectangle and put that in so that we'll know where our buy area is, right in, let's say right here, and we'll remove this. And there we have a little buy zone that we have in there, and you can see I already estimated it, and that's why I have it coming down in here. So I think oil will pull down just under 47 to 46.20 or so, right in there. That's really the area that the next trade is. I'm reluctant to be on the short side of it. I guess if it got up in here, I would short it right there, look for a trade down in here, and then look for the next move up in here. This could get you to 52 because we're in this rising cycle right there. So each of these upside impulses should get you higher highs. If they don't, then you know this is turning over. That's the cycle theory of how the shorter cycles tell you about the condition of the longer cycles. Now, because the shorter cycles here launched on the upside and then went into this pennant correction right in here, that was telling us there was nothing pushing on the downside in this right over here that was going to hurt it, and that's why we believed it was going to move sharply higher in here. So great looking chart, and a good opportunity to look at some good cycle theory in there as we look at light crude. So we'll move this back over, and now we're going to take a look at the products in here as we look at switch this over to look at The gasoline chart /RB, and waiting for data, as you can see. Now here's this chart in here. You'll notice whenever there's like this orange color spike, there's not many of these on all the 400 charts we have. This is telling you that, well, this cycle was barely readable. And I see right in there was a little low. So this was this right in here. And I got to tell you, that's a lot of hindsight to be able to pick that out of there. So it's not like it's a brilliant read on there. I'm using these cycle brackets to help me with it. This one actually could have been orange, but it actually has a better looking rally in there. So it's discernible where this one is really not. So this was what happens when you get an early breakdown. It falls for a long period of time, and this is also a early breakdown right here. And once it was breaking down right about halfway here, it had all this period to fall. So all of that is pretty good cycle patterns. Now where are we? Well, we have this morning star here on the daily on the weekly that formed, and now you have this bullish engulfing, and now you could see these cycles turning up in here, and you could see that there's an alignment with where the expected low is right there. That says that this is about to get a move up here, and if that's the case, well, it's going to keep oil from being able to get much on the downside. So that's why, you know, that support, if it pulls down into just under 47, that's why I believe that it's not going to be able to get that much lower than that for light crude. Now here you can see on the daily chart here on the right that this has also this triangular formation, looking now like it's trying to break out of that or has broken out. So good pattern here in gasoline, and that's going to be supportive as we look at the oil, all of the energies here. So now we'll take a look at heating oil /HO. And want to look at the weekly on here, and then the daily. You actually see a diamond breaking out there on the right. And here is these patterns bottoming in here also. And you have this engulfing pattern right there formed on this bigger one. And now this smaller one right in here, well, it looks like it is turning up and breaking out of this. See little, well, not quite. You see this downtrend right in here? It's not quite able to get out of it. So that's what it's running up against here in heating oil. But when I look at that diamond bottom that formed in there and that breakout, that's looking to me like it's in nice shape. So there's your diamond bottom. That's actually like a head and shoulders, except that the middle move on the upside is just way too strong for it to be a head and shoulders. Then it's ticking up. This 89-day moving average is likely to be some resistance in here, but then you will see that a test of that and then a pullback based on these smaller cycles sets you up for a nice rally. So here's this rally, a potential sell-off right in here. You see that? And then taking off right in this area right here and probably giving you a breakout. So all of this, these patterns in here and these energies are suggestive that this market is still good and pullback should be bought in there. We're going to take a look at natural gas. Natural gas is not as good a pattern, has not been as good a pattern as we've seen in these other energies. So take a look here at the weekly in natural gas, and you will see that it's in this downtrend. So let's just look, see these two cycles right in here. They're very, very clear. Let's just pop that up, and you can see so that we're still in and not even challenging at all, coming out of that downward channel that it's trading in. This goes all the way out to sometime in December, so you have to be concerned that nothing in there is real until sometime in December, and then it turns up. Now, you never know for sure if it isn't gonna. That's why I usually have blue spikes in here. It could bottom right in here, and it could bottom right in here, a little early or a little late. So we'll let the patterns tell us when it's bottoming, and you can see versus the other energies, this one just looks terrible, right, compared to what I just showed you in the other ones. Let's take a look here in the daily on here, and you'll see that these patterns in here are suggestive of a this being really a negative pattern, and that we're just getting a little bit bounce in here as it tries to follow the energies up right here, but then likely to pull down again. On the outside, if this thing really wants to get a bounce going, 260, about a dime more, but then I think it'll just pull back because that's really where the resistances are. So that's a look at the energies, and you can see that the energies, basically outside of natural gas, are in very good shape. They had this big rally in light crude, and now these products looking like they're ready to firm further, and that's probably going to keep light crude from falling very far. My buy area is 147 to about 47 to about 46.20 or 30. That's to me the zone. It's always a zone. It's never an absolute number. Too many people get fooled by support resistances thinking that the numbers are absolute, and they're far from it. As you can see as we look at this stuff, it's really much more about how they act when they get into those zones, and then the candlestick or other patterns that then give us signals in those zones to tell us. So right now, energy looking okay. So that was a sample of FutureSpeak. Don't miss the next full video this coming Wednesday. And of course, all the other videos in our library. Become a level 2 member at AskSlim.com. Thanks for watching.
Well, I'm going to the city and I'm going to a station.